Welcome students. In the next module on applications of partial differentiation and successive differentiation. From this, the first topic is the maxima and minima. In this, we are going to first discuss the second derivative test, and then we are going for the uh, Lagrange's multiplier method. So in this lecture, I am going to define the how to calculate the maxima and minima using the second derivative test for the partial differentiation. So first of all, what is maxima? If the function is we are going to discuss the maxima first. A function f of x comma y is said to be maximum at point a comma b if f of ab is greater than f of a plus h comma b plus k, where h and k are small numbers and are either positive or negative. Okay, this is the definition of the maxima of the function. Now we are coming for the minima of the function, or say minimum value. A function f of x comma y is said to be minimum at some point a comma b if the value of f of ab is less than f of a plus h comma b plus k. Again, same, h and k are the positives, and they are sorry, h and k are very less small numbers, and they are positive or negative. Is it? So that means what it means? Suppose my point AB, this is my curve given to you. The AB is lying at this point. Then A plus H comma B plus K is what? A plus H comma B plus K would be the point which is on this side, or either it is on this side. Is it? Are you clear with this? Yeah. Or it can be like this, or in this direction, or in this direction also. In this means a plus h comma b plus k can be in all possible directions of AB. For example, I'm saying h and k are positives, then a plus h plus b plus k would like somewhere here. If h is a negative, k is also negative, then it will be like somewhere in this region. Okay? Yes. This idea must be very clear. Now, next is what is we are just going to discuss the geometrical interpretation that what is maxima and the minima. When we say there is a maximum, I'll show the diagram first. It could be better for the understanding. Suppose this is the three-dimensional space I am having. Is it? So this would be my x-axis. Okay, I'll just keep it here. This is my x-axis. This is y-axis, and this could be a z-axis. Okay. Now, suppose there is a some surface like this, having some curvy nature like that. This is some surface in the space. Okay, uh, it is not the correct way I'm defining. Okay, make it. Okay, this is x and the y and z. Okay. Now suppose this is your surface. Or your surface would be like this, the parabolic shape, paraboloid shape actually. It is better for the understanding for the maximum and the minimum. Okay, see this. At this point, I'm having the maximum of this surface. Okay. So your surface is start decreasing from this point. That means it is declined from all the sides. Are you getting that? So the maximum is a point from where the surface descends in all possible directions, whereas the minimum is a point on the surface from where your surface starts ascend. See, look at this point. From here, your surface starts increasing in all possible directions, like that. Is it? So this is what the case of the maxima and the minimum. That is a geometrical interpretation. Now we are coming with a algorithm for calculating the maxima and the minima. So I'm just going to mention the working rule. The first step is, the step number 1 is find the partial derivatives fx, fy, fxx, fyy and fxy. In second step, consider the two equations fx is equal to 0 and fy is equal to 0. Solve this equation for okay, instead of saying solve for, I just write solve these equations to find the point a comma b, where the point a comma b is called as stationary point. That is very important, or you can call it as a critical point also. Okay, so for the given f of x, we need to calculate the stationary point. Fine. Now we are coming to third step. Once I calculate the fx and the fy, now our job is to find r, which is nothing but fxx at point a comma b. Then s is equal to fxy at point a comma b, and t is equal to fyy at point a comma b. So we need to calculate these three values for a particular stationary point. Now once I finish them, then check the following. Now following four are the conditions for the maxima, minima, saddle point, and some further investigation is necessary. So the first condition is, if rt minus a square is greater than 0 and r is less than 0, then f of x comma y has maxima or maximum at point a comma b. Where the second condition is, if this first part is same, rt minus a square is greater than 0 and r is greater than 0, then f of x comma y has minimum at point a comma b. Now the third, if rt minus a square is less than 0, then f of x comma y has neither maximum nor minimum. That is, the point AB is called saddle point. And one more condition, if rt minus a square is equal to 0, it means further investigation is required. I hope you are clear with the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fourth step having the four conditions. One of them is to be satisfied. Once it is get satisfied, then accordingly you can place your conclusion. Okay. Now we are coming with a problem. So let's start with the first problem, or say first example. Examine the function y square plus 4xy plus 3x square plus x cube. Y square plus 4xy plus 3x square plus x cube for extreme values. That means we have to calculate, or we have to find out the point at which this given function has a maximum and at which point this has a minimum. Okay, so let's begin with, let f of x comma y is equal to y square plus 4xy plus 3x square plus x cube. Now our first step is to calculate the partial derivatives of first order and the second order. So we need to calculate fx. What is fx? In the first term there is no x is present, so the derivative is 0. In the second term, yes, the term of x is present, which is x itself. The derivative is 1 plus 3x square, 3 as it is, the derivative of x square is 2x, plus x cube, the derivative is 3x square. Now fy, that is partial derivative of f with respect to y. In the first term we have the y, which is given as 2y, plus in the second term also we are having the y term, derivative would be 4x. Now fxx, what is fxx? It is the partial derivative of fx with respect to x. So this is my fx. Okay, I need to simplify this. This is 4y plus 6x plus 3x. Now further differentiate with respect to x. The first term there is no x, derivative is 0. Second term the derivative is 6, and the third term derivative is 6x. So 6x plus 6. Now what is fxy? Fxy is a partial derivative of fx with respect to y. Hence we are having the partial derivative of 4y plus 6x plus 3x square. Now what can be the derivative? Yes, any guesses? Yes, it's a simple. The derivative would be 4. Why? Because the second and the third term doesn't have the y term, so they are treated as a constant. Now fyy. Fyy is what? It is a partial derivative of fy with respect to y. So hence the derivative is 2. Now we are coming to the second step. What is the second step? Consider the equations fx is equal to 0 and fy is equal to 0. So when I equate fx is equal to 0, we get 4y plus 6x plus 3x square is equal to 0. And when we say fy equal to 0, we have 2y plus 4x is equal to 0. Now what? I call this as equation number 1, this as equation number 2. From equation 2 we get y is equal to, or say 2y is equal to minus 4x. Put 2y is equal to minus 4x in equation 1. So see, there is a term 4y which can be written as 2 into 2y. So hence 4y can be replaced by 2 times minus 4x plus 6x plus 3x square is equal to 0. After simplification, what I am getting? This is 4 to the minus 8x plus 6x. That gives 2x plus 3x. So we can have the x common, so x into bracket 2 plus 3x square. Sorry, 2 plus 3x, not x square. So 2 plus 3x, correct, is equal to 0. So this implies either x is equal to 0 or x is equal to minus 2 by 3. Now substitute x is equal to 0 in the equation, 2y is equal to minus 4x. This gives y equals to 0. Now put x is equal to minus 2 by 3 into y is equal to minus 4x. So again, what I'm getting, 2y is equal to minus 4x, where we are going to do minus 2 by 3 here. So this gives 2y is equal to minus 4 into minus 2 by 3. Minus minus become plus, this 2 and this 2 get cancelled, hence we get y is equals to 4 by 3. So now we are getting two different points. One, when x is 0, the value of y is 0. See, x is 0, y is 0. When x is minus 2 by 3, the value of y is 4 by 3. So hence 2 by 3 comma 4 by 3. I just did one mistake here. I committed a mistake here. Minus 2, getting minus 2. So the value of x would be plus 2 by 3. As x is a plus 2 by 3, then y will be minus 4 by 3. Yes, correct. By 3, y will be minus 4. Fine. Now here in the second step, we are getting the critical points. So now step number 3. For each critical point, we are interested to calculate R, S and T. So for 0, 0. Now what is R here? R means fxx. So R is equal to fxx equals to 6x plus c. S is equal to fxy is equal to 4. And T is equal to fyy is equal to 2. Fine. For 0, 0. So the value of R for at fxx at point 0, 0 would be 6 into 0 plus 6. That gives me 6. Okay. Therefore, consider the value RT minus A square. So what is RT? 6 into 2 minus A square, that is 4 square. 6 2s are 12. 12 minus 16 gives me the minus 4. So RT minus A square is less than 0, that is minus 4 I am getting. So therefore what we say, f of x comma y has neither maxima nor minima. So therefore it is a saddle point. So this is case number 1. Now we are coming to the case number 2, that is 2 by 3 comma minus 4 by 3. Again same, R is equal to fxx at point 2 by 3 comma minus 4 by 3 is equal to 6x, that is 6 into 2 by 3 plus 6, that gives me 3 2s are 6, 2 2s are 4, 6 plus 4, that gives me 10. S is equal to fxy, which is nothing but a 4. It's a constant, there is no change. T is fyy, which is also a constant, that is 2. Now consider RT minus A square. What is R? Sorry, the value of R is 10. So 10 into 2 RT minus R into T minus A square, that is 4 square. So 10 to the 20 minus 16 gives me 4, which is positive. Then R is equal to 10 which is also positive. Fine. So now just have a look on the conditions. Your RT minus A square is greater than 0 and R is also greater than 0. So that means look at the second condition. What I am having now? Minima. Exactly. So now you can conclude, since RT minus A square is greater than 0 and R is greater than 0, therefore f of x comma y has minimum at point 2 by 3 comma minus. Therefore we calculate the f minimum. So f minimum is equal to, what is the minimum? Y square plus 4xy, sorry, y square plus 4xy plus 3x square plus x cube is equal to, the y is minus 4 by 3, so this is minus 4 by 3 square plus 4 into 2 by 3 into minus 4 by 3 plus 3 into minus 4 by 3 square plus 2 by 3 minus 4 is 2 by 3. So this is minus 4 by 3 square plus 4 into 2 by 3 into minus 4 by 3 plus 3 into 2 by 3 square plus 2 by 3 cube. Is it? So this would be a minimum value. You can just go on calculate this. So minus 4 by 3 is 16 by 9 plus 4 for the 16 plus 2, that is 16 2s, that is minus 32 by 9, 2 square, that is 4, 4 3s are 12 by 9 minus 8 by 7. So just have a look. This gives me the minus 44. Minus 44 plus 16. How much it is? The 10 minus 44 plus. Just write this. Okay. Now 9 threes are. So what we do? We go for 28 threes are, that is minus 84 by 27 minus 8 by 27. This is minus 92 by 27 is the minimum value of your given information. Okay. So this is a very basic problem based on this particular topic. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss few more examples on based on the same concept. Thank you.